Welcome everyone to a casted game of Age of Empires 4! And today, spawning on the east side of the map, playing in teal, we have got Fitzbro playing as the Japanese. And his opponent on the west side of the map playing in yellow, we've got Nyanracingcat playing as the Order of the Dragon. Welcome everyone to Cliffside, the map for today on the new Sultans Ascend DLC, ladies and gents. Super excited to showcase this. New civilizations, a new campaign if you are, a campaign enjoyer. Lots of new game mechanics to talk about. Now, it's going to be making sure that keep an eye on the scout because obviously the map is an interesting one. It's a new one for the players. They're going to have to see what's on offer. And what is on offer are cliffs. Hence the name Cliffside. You've got massive cliffs in the middle of the map, kind of going in a zigzag pattern. You've got mostly gold in the middle. You've got the sacred sites, 3 of them, slap bang in the middle. And, in the middle line of the map, it's, between them, basically equidistant. And then you've got the relics as well, which are pretty dotted around in the middle. Again, everything seems to kind of focus both players into the middle of the map, which is a really nice map design. You kind of want players to get that way. I would say one thing is that, obviously, the walls are possibly an issue. The cliffs are obviously quite close to each other, and it could be quite easy for players to wall each other off. But we shall see. The Japanese seemingly are looking to be pretty expansive in terms of military. Quite aggressive, it seems, these days, from what I've seen so far. And, we'll see how they try to punish the Order of the Dragon. Let's talk about the Japanese. They've got the forge there being built, unique building for them, kind of a cross between the blacksmith and the mining camp. Something you would be looking to pay attention to. You just saw that +2 on the stone. You might be wondering, what's that all about? Well, when the Japanese gather gold, they also gather stone. It's a ratio of 10 to 2, so 10 gold gives you 2 stone, and vice versa, by the way. So if you're mining stone, you get 10 stone, you get 2 gold as well. What's interesting is they also have houses, but they're not like other houses. They're called farmhouses, right up my alley, that's for sure. And they actually contain unique upgrades for the Japanese. You see Tawara here, the first of 3 potential upgrades, increasing the carry capacity of villages by +3 and the movement speed by +7. And the gather rate from the berry bushes. Now, just bear in mind, they don't actually get wheelbarrows. That kind of compensates for that. Something important to note. Now, looking on the other side of things, the Order of the Dragon. Now, they've got dragon villages. They've got 25% increased gather speed of resources, which is kind of crazy, but they do also cost more. They cost 60 food rather than your usual 50. But more importantly, they take 24 seconds to train rather than your usual 20 seconds. So you'll find as the game progresses, the villager count will be looking a bit of a discrepancy between the 2 players, mainly because maybe there's going to be some raiding, but even just naturally, left to their own devices, you will expect the Order of the Dragon to have less villagers. It's going to be going up to the next stage with the Minework Palace there, or Order of the Dragon. Now, it means that it's going to get unique upgrades, slightly different than the HRE Minework Palace, but it does the same sort of thing. Blacksmith, 40% faster and 40% reduced cost in the researchers. The Japanese going to be going up with the Cocker Township. Now, this is going to be able to give them access to Shinobi, a very nice espionage unit. Can't wait to see that guy in action. Going to be going up with 5 villagers building it, so going to be looking to really get that next stage quickly. We'll see where we go on from here. Now, Order of the Dragon, of course, the variant civilization of the Holy Roman Empire, so expecting them to play in a very similar way. But of course with the beefy villagers and beefy units. Now they're very expensive units, quite difficult to mass them up because how expensive they can be. And I think generally the Order of the Dragon might have to be quite a defensive civilization because of the fact that if they lose villagers, it's a big deal, right? It's a massive big deal if they lose a villager. More so than, say, the other civilizations. And we see that township now has been built, going to get a shinobi on the map, costing 60 food and 60 gold. It's kind of funny because these guys can disguise as enemy villagers. So when they say espionage, they really do mean espionage. It's kind of cool to watch in action. Hopefully we'll see it today. We'll have to see if that happens or not. Now, something to think about for the Japanese, from their town centers, they can actually be upgraded. So you can see on the bottom of your screen there, 3 tiers to upgrade. You've got the Daimyo Manor, Daimyo Palace, and the Shogunate Castle. Now, what these do is they gives you villagers, like between each level. You get +1 for the first level, +2 for the second level, +3 for the third. Gives you extra HP, as you can see, but also adds an additional arrow slip, depending on your tier. But what I like to pay attention to is the farming. You've got 25% increased gather speed for the first tier, 50% for the second, and 75% for the third. It's actually really strong, that kind of dynamic and that farming transition you can get and how powerful it can be. We do see Shinobi going across the map. 3 upgrades you can get. You can get Spy, which is the one where they turn basically into enemy units. It's kind of cool. And then you've got Sabotage. This is a really nice one. If you've got a group of these Shinobi, you can dish out a lot of damage on buildings. It gives like a one-off 200 damage, but it is, every 30 seconds. This does, I'm not sure what the cooldown is actually. I'm not sure if it's 30 seconds, but it's got a cooldown, of course. And you've got the Shunshin as well, where they basically teleport. They've got a smoke bomb and reappear at a location where you desire. I mean, actually hit the house, didn't actually deploy the Sabotage. Now behind this, well, not a lot else is going on. Just sheep coming back, and it's going to go for a stable opening here. Japanese going to follow the Shinobi with a stable, probably horsemen on the cards. We shall see. Just moving across the map, going past the sacred site. And, I hope you guys have been enjoying the castle content on the channel recently. Obviously, you've been releasing a lot of content, and it's been fun, for sure. I really appreciate all the support you guys have been giving. Whether that's just been, liking the videos, which actually helps a lot. Or even, big shout out for those guys who've gone even further and got themselves the YouTube membership and the Twitch subscriptions. I will be releasing lots of build orders, actually, for these civilizations. So if you actually play Age of Empires 4, and you want to consider maybe checking out some build orders, you can get PDFs for them, especially as a thank you for the guys who are Twitch members and subscribers. But generally, on a lot of my build orders, I do actually write the build order on the side of the screen, so you can just cut it down, to be honest. So you're not really missing out on too much. Fitzbro just keeping an eye on things, making sure that he's not being attacked, and it's kind of relatively passive play by Order of the Dragon, not going for the feudal age units really. Instead, it's going to go up with the Burggraf Palace. Now the Burggraf Palace is an interesting landmark for the Order of the Dragon. Slightly different than when you compare it to the HRE. So the Order of the Dragon, their Burggraf Palace, as you can see, it produces units 30% faster and 30% cheaper. And if you compare that to the HRE Burggraf Palace, as you can see on your screen right now, the HRE gets you production at 400% faster. I quite like the Burggraf Palace for the Order of the Dragon because the units are so expensive anyway. So that discount, I think, goes a long way to helping on their war efforts. The Japanese have opened up with 2 stables, going to be getting the horsemen across the map, and you can see quite a decent number of units here for Fitzbro, 11 of them. Shinobi heading around the south. Now, the Shinobi didn't necessarily seem to do a lot of damage, but we shall see if they try and sneak in on a wood line or 2. But a good castle age timing here for Nyanracingcat. 8 minutes, not too shabby. Maybe thinking about getting the relic potentially. Could be an option. I think generally the Order of the Dragon are going to be kind of a sit-back civilization. Maybe more so than, say, the HRE can be. And it's an interesting dynamic. I think the Order of the Dragon might suffer some losses here, because look how many units Fitzbro's got. He's actually got 16 units. If he gets a couple of upgrades on the blacksmith, he could really do some damage, and he's got to be careful, Nyan, because he doesn't want to lose villagers, right? They're very expensive. Gonna dive in there a little bit. Taking some damage though, and he's going to be kind of keeping a lot of villagers idle. I think that's the main difference here. Nyanracingcat got 22 idols right now. Fitzbro doing a lot of damage. You can see he just deployed that ability from the Shinobi to make that Burggraf Palace be on fire. But he does lose everything. Fitzbro riding in with his horsemen, maybe a bit too enthusiastically. Maybe a waypoint that's kind of not in the right spots, but it is what it is. Now, of course, don't forget both players are still figuring out the civilization, so got to cut them some slack. Of course, they're just experiencing the game and how really to formulate their build orders. Okay, well, we're going up with the monastery, so he's certainly looking to get those relics. He's lost 1 villager only so far, so not too shabby here for Nyanracingcat. Got to be careful though, because Fitzbro does look like he's trying to be aggressive, and he's got a lot of map control, which is actually really useful for him. He can actually get the deer packs on the field. And that might be a bit difficult for Nyanracingcat, because it means it has to play a very condensed economy. He's going to be struggling for food very soon, and doesn't have that much space to work with in terms of farms. So he's got to be careful. He's looking to get a prelate nice and early in the castle age to try and get a relic or two. Just bear in mind they don't actually get prelates to start off in the game. So that's probably one of the big differences for the Order of the Dragon. And another thing actually to think about is the other alternative landmark to the Minework Palace was the Archon Chapel. The Archon Chapel for the Order of the Dragon gives them an additional 10% improvement in inspiration. Whereas, of course, the normal HRE would give them 40 with a prelate inside. Ooh. Dishing out all sorts of damage to that Lance Connector, the gilded one. I've got to say, the units for the Order of the Dragon, they look absolutely phenomenal. They look so, so good. Bit of a raiding here on the west side. Diving in a little bit. Will he take out a less... I don't know. I think the Lance Connector should be doing okay, especially underneath the outpost. I mean, he will still lose his life, but he did kill 2 horsemen for it. He's about to lose a third, maybe even a fourth. Yeah, I think he can lose all 4 here with the outpost. Potentially. Yeah, it does. He does. I'm not sure if that was worth it. Just took 1 Lance Connector out. Going to try and deny the relic coming in. He's already harassing quite heavily. Will he get the relic inside? Does he get it inside? Oh, he just about somehow did. Just about somehow did. That's unfortunate for Fitzbro. Now, naturally, Fitzbro does have more villagers because, of course, it only takes him 20 seconds to train a villager. Double stable, double archery ratios. Really means business here. He has lost a lot of his units quite easily, though. He has been raiding, though, kept a lot of idle time, which is certainly helpful. And the nice thing is that he should be able to afford this upgrade soon. He needs 300 stone for it. Hasn't actually had to collect any stone. He's already got almost 200 in the bank. Ooh, wolf chomping at the bit. Now, I would like to actually get you guys' opinion. Now, I have probably uploaded quite a few videos already on the channel. And, yeah, I mean, I'd like quite to hear what your favourite civilization that you've seen so far. Personally, I quite like the Ayyubids. I think they're a very versatile, fun civilization to play. I think the Byzantines look really, really nice. The Japanese look... You know what? It's hard to find a bad civilization here. They're all looking very, very nice and easy to play. Well, not easy to play necessarily, but fun to play for sure. I certainly would like to see what people think and what your most favourite one is. Okay, you guys have to make a tough decision. You've got to pick only one. I can say all 6 because, you know, I'm allowed to. You guys have to only pick one. Seriously? Every game. It just feels like every game these days there's a tile gap there. I think what it is if you play Age of Empires 4, when you actually try and seed the farms by clicking on the town centre and then pressing the hotkeys, if you press it too fast, this seems to happen quite a lot with the gap in between. It's a shame to watch. It is what it is. I say that every game. I think I have to get a thicker skin to that. Alright, villagers coming out to the deer pack. Going to be pushing closer to the house as well. Pretty nice. That's a lot of villagers. Holy moly, 20 of them. He's going to chew through that very quickly. He has survival techniques as well. Fitzbro, there's a wolf biting you. Do something. It's certainly a generally passive part of the game so far. I think Fitzbro's just mounting a response into the castle age that's come out for the Order of the Dragon, rather. He's mounting that response with horsemen and the Yumi Ashigaru, a cheaper archer alternative. Pretty fast on their feet, nimble. He's going to lose a couple of villagers. With a 5-range attack. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they actually cost 35 wood. We'll check that in a second. I don't want to really move away from this little bit of an engagement. He's doing quite well. He's got 20 villagers idled. And that is pretty significant. It's going to be fighting against Lance Connector, though. It's going to try and snipe them. I mean, the Lance Connector should technically die and melt to archers, but these are gilded Lance Connectors, and they're not any ordinary ones. But Fitzbro is diving on this pretty well, and I think necessarily he didn't kill all that many villagers, but every villager he kills, don't forget, it means that much more when they're the Order of the Dragon. When they're the dragon villagers. But I think generally he kept the villagers idle for so long there. Nyanracingcat's economy would have hurt. Let's take a look at the Yumi Ashigaru, costing 35 wood and 30 food rather. So a bit of a cheaper alternative. He needs this waypoint is very aggressive. Holy moly, going right onto the base there. And now that is bravery. Going over to stone. Maybe looking to get a keep potentially here. We'll have to see. Could do with one, to be fair. Now, having lost quite a few villagers, or a little bit more than his opponent, there is a comeback mechanic in terms of that if he does lose too many. And that is the Palace of Swabia. The Palace of Swabia for the Order of the Dragon is exactly the same as it is for the HRE, but I would say it's better, right? Because if you think about it, the improvements that Palace of Swabia gives you is percentages. It's 200% faster villager training time, 66% reduction of cost. But if you factor in that the dragon villagers are more expensive and they take longer to train, therefore you get a slightly better discount, as it were. Yumi Ashigaru on the backline with the horsemen, trying to tank against the Lance Connector, or the man-at-arms rather. These guys are man-at-arms. Look at them wielding their swords. They look absolutely phenomenal. But it's going to be tough for the Yumi Ashigaru to take through them, and yeah, they're just tanking it. Denies the outpost on the berries. I think Nyanracingcat is really struggling for food, right? Fitzbro's just done such a great job of strangling his opponent. Meanwhile, Fitzbro is taking all the pocket economies. He does have a bit of deer pack here at the bottom. And now this is such a great position for Fitzbro, right? He can take food freely. He's going to take the boar and then the berries. You have plenty of food, and got 20 villagers here. And this is all because Order of the Dragon can't get out of their base, right? He's just so pigeonholed. But as I say, he does have a potential comeback mechanic, and that is with the Palace of Swabia, if he can really churn that villagers out and get the economy back up and running. Fitzbro, though, going to be going up to the next stage with the Temple of Equity to get himself to the castle age there for the Japanese. I've not actually seen this landmark so far in the games I've casted, so pretty excited to check this one out. Unique to the Japanese, unlocks the Buddhist monk, which are 33% cheaper, can weaken enemy damage by... Wait, what? Can weaken enemy damage by 50% and provide 20% damage to nearby friendly units while casting conversion? Holy moly, how have we not seen this before in the preview games that I've casted so far? This looks really strong. I'm pretty excited to see the Buddhist monk, actually. I'm pretty excited to see this as well, because it's been a bit of aggression. I think Nyanracingcat does have a decent number of military now, 20 military. Don't forget, these are gilded military units, so they are no joke, that is for sure. Fitzbro going to have to think twice before diving into that. Getting a couple more shinobis, maybe looking to try and raid a little bit. We'll have to see what he decides to do with these guys. Now, he did get that daimyo first upgrade there in the end. Daimyo mana. So this farm's going to be working a little bit faster. This is the palace that I'm hovering over at the moment, but yeah, Daimyo mana got him 25% faster farming harvest rate. Next tier will be 50%, and then one after that, 75. He's going to be able to pick up a relic as well, which is quite nice to snag. One relic already deposited for Nyanracingcat. He's going to be looking to maybe get to that Imperial Age. Look at the resources at the top. Kind of neck and neck, but it just feels like he's saving up for Imperial Age. Only concern for Nyanracingcat, where does he get gold from? There's something to bear in mind, actually. You only get 2 gold veins, so this is only a 4,000 gold vein source, and if he runs out of that, he's going to have to push out. That can make things a little bit tough for him, because Fitzbro does have a lot of the map control, and is heading forward with military. Villagers still on the berries. Heading north there to pick up that relic. Going to be evening up the relic count. I would love to see Fitzbro actually take the Sacred Science, because the Order of the Dragon, of course, having to stay back home. That'd be a nice bit of gold income coming in for him. I suspect that'd be part of the play. He's actually got 2 relics in his clutches now, so going to be bringing 3 back home. It's understandable considering the map control that he has right now. But very quiet there for Nyanracingcat. You can see he is looking to get that Imperial Age now. About to place the foundations. The question is, where does he go for it? He's probably going to have to play it very safe, of course. Probably on this wood line here, to be honest. Now, we do get 3 upgrades from the Minework Palace. Actually, we didn't talk about that. It's probably worth talking about. Got the Golden Cuirass with the Gilded Man-at-Arms who fall below 20% of health, take 20% less damage. Get the Zornhelm, where the Gilded Lance Connector equipped a halberd weapon that wounds enemies. When struck by this weapon, a unit will bleed for 2 damage every second. Lasts about 10 seconds. And then we've got Bodkin Bolts. Gilded Crossbowmen deal 10 damage against siege units. I tell you what, you're definitely not going to want to train any Rebaldaquins against these guys. Not with that upgrade, that is for sure. Palace of Swabia building it with 10 villagers and going to be placing it back on the gold. And it's understandable, but he's going to rip through that gold very quickly. He's got to be careful. I think Fitzbro, if he gets good map control, he should be in a good spot. He might be looking to go to the Imperial Age himself. Kind of struggling on the gold, but that might change if he starts getting the sacred sites. He's got a couple of mounted samurai and the Onnamusha. This is quite a nice unit, actually. I quite like it. It's a light ranged cavalry, but it does damage against heavy units, bonus damage. And I think that's a really nice, unique feature, because a lot of the horse archers, they only really take care of light units, but these guys can do damage against heavily armored units, and I really quite enjoy that. Probably quite perfect against a civilization like the HRE, especially if they rely on gilded man-at-arms. Going to be diving in that wood line. There is an outpost there. This is going to be a big dive here for Fitzbro. There's a decent number of villagers being idled, but there's a lot of man-at-arms there for the HRE. And he's trying to take advantage of the fact that his opponent went up to the next age, the Imperial Age, invested resources into that rather than military. Fitzbro trying to dive on this, get as many kills as he can, but I'm not sure if he wins this fight here. The man-at-arms tagging so much. The Onnamusha technically should do a decent amount against them. We'll have to take a look at the stats of the Onnamusha. Exactly how much they can do. +9 damage extra for heavy units. It feels like they're tickling them. I think the Yumi Ashigaru aren't really doing too much. They're going to have to back away. Probably not a fight here that he can take. You can see he's got the little... the Kaburiya. Onnamusha fire whistling arrow when an enemy is seen, increasing movement speed for 10 seconds to be able to get out of there, I guess. It's quite a nice mechanic. I think he lost a bannerman. Yeah, he did lose a bannerman indeed. The Yumi bannerman. Now, the bannerman system, if you're not aware, they drop banners. Well, when they're alive, they don't drop them. But if they die, they still have the aura for about 30 seconds. And it usually... let's double check, but I believe it increases the attack speed. Let's take a look. For example, the mounted samurai one, the Umma bannerman, increases the damage of cavalry. There we go. Also comes with a deflective armor ability that periodically blocks attacks. Very, very nice. Similar for the others, but you do need to get the specific one. So they've got the Yumi bannerman for the ranged infantry, and I suspect you will have one for the melee infantry too. Yep, we do. The Katana bannerman. Heading down the south to get these berries as well, and it just means it hasn't had to have like a harsh farming transition, but to be honest with the farming transition for the Japanese, it's not all that terrible. I don't know how I feel about this though. Valuable farming real estate, but the range is quite far on the farms. Take a look at this. All the way around the yellow circle circumference. All those farms would be benefiting from the increased gather speed. And, well, speaking about speed, yeah, I don't have a good transition there, I'm afraid. Maybe we've got the speed from the Onnamusha. Maybe he could just ride. I mean, the thing is that Nyanracingcat has pretty much walled himself in and is very well protected, right? Playing very condensed. He's going to have to move out soon, though, because giving out all of the map control now. Fitzbro will be going to the Imperial Age himself. Going to go up with the Tanigash. Wait. We've got to get practice. We've got to get practice. Tanigashima. There we are. Tanigashima. Got to send that 10 times and get used to it. The gunsmith. Tanigashima gunsmith. It's I believe it's a static defense keep kind of landmark. We'll have to see actually. Yeah, there we are. It's a miniature landmark. Okay, now this is a fantastic landmark. It's so good. It gives you the ability to train siege units, but you can do it for free. Kind of like the Golden Gate, you get tickets. It comes with 5 stockpiles, or 5 tickets if you will, and you can produce a unique unit, the Ozutsu, a unique heavy ranged gunpowder infantry with siege damage, and it also allows them access to Reborder Queens, which I'm sure he's not going to get, not against the Order of the Dragon, but this is such a cool unit. I really hope we get to see these guys, because they're heavy ranged gunpowder units, but they do a lot of siege damage against buildings in particular, so you can see as they're anti-building. Got heavy armor, and they look absolutely incredible. So I can't wait to showcase that. I mean, hopefully he makes some, right? That's the question. We don't quite know yet. He does have all the 3 sacred sites, so he's going to be getting a nice bit of gold coming in. But more importantly, it's a possible win condition. Just going to keep an eye on the food. Now, if he gets this area as well, that's pretty impressive. He's going to get the deer pack and the gold. And if he does that, I mean, you can see his economy is looking decent, but I'd say, you know, with the Palace of Swabia, look at the villager count. It's not what you'd expect in this matchup. The Palace of Swabia is something different. It's built different. Made of something else. But it's a bit of a struggle sometimes to produce units. It does have a lot more military units though, still. A lot of the Onnamusha are trying to ride in now. We talked about this earlier, how we might try and raid. And there's quite a few villages there. Do garrison inside that outpost, but some might go down on the stone, being chased down by the Onnamusha. I think he's walled that up though, so Nyanracingcat should be fine. Oh, he's going to lose a couple of villages though. This is bad. Although having said that, with the Palace of Swabia, the impact is felt a lot less. Come the Gilded Spearman. He's going to take the engagement. Now, he's got to make sure he marks it as well. Fitzbro doesn't want to get caught out by the infantry, but he's got the tools, he's got the units that he needs. Got the veteran Yumi Ashigaru. You see the Yumi Bannerman firing as well. Just see the white little bar on top of the blue. That is the shield that it has, of course. Everything focusing very, very heavily condensed economy. Nyanracingcat does have a siege workshop. Let's see what it decides to produce. Looking to get a cannon placement as well. The Onnamusha kind of diving in. There is a Mangonel that could deploy, could get a good hit. It's probably the way to do this. Needs to find a way to deal with this. It doesn't have any range units to deal with the Onnamusha though. Mangonel does deploy, takes out 2 Onnamusha. They unfortunately die slap bag into the ground. Yeah, in the middle of the map, we do see a lot of teal dots heading across. A new group of elite Onnamusha. They are looking fantastic, holy moly. Joined by their comrades. Military numbers looking pretty decent, but it's very heavily infantry based here for the Order of the Dragon. I think it's okay if he has a decent amount of siege and has a strong push, but he's got to do that soon, I think, because Fitzbro has got that sacred timer ticking away. That could be what wins in the game if the Order of the Dragon aren't careful. Going over to stone. I wonder if he's run out of gold now. He has indeed. This is a really tricky situation for Nyanracingcat. Completely run out of gold, and I think generally the pressure that you can come under playing as the Order of the Dragon is quite immense because it's very difficult to get out of your base. You can't produce that many units. You kind of just get outnumbered. Got stone walls in the south. I kind of like this. It allows his eco to re-establish itself. But he does need to find a more sustainable source of gold. We need to find a source of gold. He's got some relics too, but it's just probably not going to be enough. The Onnamusha there on the villages. Oh, there's a lot of villages there on the stone. I don't think Nyanracingcat's noticed it. A lot of them are idle. Now a lot of them will go down. That's bad. Does have a cannon placement inside that outpost, but Mangonel. Oh, decent shot there. Fitzbro loses a lot of the Onnamusha. Now the spearmen are chasing after them. Mangonels continue to chase. The Onnamusha need to get out of there though, and if they do, not all will be lost, but he did lose quite a few units there. Looking to try and deactivate the sacred site in the middle. Gonna snipe out 2 Springles with, wait, what? With villagers, no doubt. I think he's trying to get a keep drop in the middle, right? It doesn't really feel like... Yeah, he's trying to get a keep drop. It will happen, but he's lost a lot of villagers in doing so. 40 villagers Fitzbro has killed. That is incredible. They're expensive units, and it's so long for him to train them again, although the Palace of Swabia will have something to say about that. But check this out. We've got hand cannoneers for the Japanese. Mangonel gets a good shot there from the back lines, and the Onnamusha a little bit trapped in that little crevice between the cliff. Might need to back off there a little bit. Another Mangonel shot. A decent shot on the Onnamusha. They're backing away. Now all of a sudden, Nyanracingcat with the better, well, yeah, I'd say overall better economy and more military. He's starting to put some pressure. It's a kind of tricky situation for Fitzbro. He needs to hold on. Doesn't want to lose that central sacred site. But I think he might just, because the keep's gone up. Getting the forward production as well. That's looking good here for the Order of the Dragon. Pushing back now that they established economy, but he does need to find a source of gold, right? I think if Fitzbro keeps a control on the gold, he'll be absolutely fine. And I think this gold here, that's what he's got to take, I think. Oh, look at that. We see the Ozutsu coming out for the Japanese. They might rip through that keep, actually. Let's take a look at them on the hill. Holy smokes. They're firing big ass boulders. But they are looking good. Behind the Onnamusha, they're firing off as well. But obviously the Onnamusha won't do too much damage to the keep. They're doing what they can. Might just try and burn this down. I mean, he does have quite a few of those Zutsus. There's a bombard coming in as well, and the bombard will just clear everything else up, and the keep will go down. It's on fire, and I think Nyanracingcat can hold his position for too much longer, but he does have a lot of military numbers. Fitzbro's got to be careful that doesn't overextend, but there's a lot of hand cannoneers that are doing great work against the Order of the Dragon infantry. Mangonel, good Mangonel shot. A lot of HP lost, but no villages, no units rather, go down. 3 Springles going to try and snipe out the Mangonel. He needs to try and keep the Mangonels alive here if he can. Nyanracingcat does lose one, about to lose a second. The Springles are still alive, and the trouble for him is the hand cannoneers ripping through the man-at-arms as they try and dive in on the siege. Comes in with a couple of gilded archers, their veteran status though. They feels a bit rough here. It's losing units quite quickly, Nyanracingcat, and every single one matters. Now we see elite samurai tanking on the front lines for the Japanese. They're getting ripped apart. The Ozutsu seem to be dishing out so much damage. Oh, these production builders are going to go down. Unfortunately for the Order of the Dragon, the position wasn't as solid as he perhaps thought, and 2 bombards adding into the mix. There's actually a lot of siege here for the Japanese. They could really pack a punch now in this push that's about to happen. All of a sudden, the game swung a different way. It looked for a second that Order of the Dragon were going to push out and do a lot of damage, but I think he's just struggling on gold, right? He's just been gold starved for such a long time. Cliffside, we talked about the map generation, how key it is, and now he's lost that forward position. He's lost the gold access. Where does he go from here? He's going to have to focus on just purely food and wood units, and I'm not sure that will be enough. The 2 bombards heading further forwards. Going to be taking the outpost down. Onimusha trying to pick off any villages that might even come close. But where does he go from here? Going to go out to wood on the west side. Oh, take a look at that, getting gold there. That should be Nyan's, but that's not happening. Another siege workshop going to go down. The Japanese looking strong. You see the Ozutsu getting so much value with the 2 bombards, and now with the constructions, the buildings going down for the Order of the Dragon. Just get the feeling this could be the big death push with the siege. I think the siege is the big difference here. And he might be able to take down the town center next. If that town center goes down, you've got a feeling that it might just be a tap out for Nyanracingcat. Doesn't really feel like he's got a way back. He does have 58 military units though. Where are they? That is the question. I think he may be saving them back. Can't quite see them on the minimap. Mostly here, they're waiting. They want to take a big push in the middle, right? As soon as they can to try and save the base, but he's going to have to move soon. If it doesn't, it's going to start to be overwhelmed. You can see all the teal units heading across the map. Here come the emergency repairs on that town center. The Burggraf Palace certainly helping, but he needs to deal with this massive units from the Japanese. Does he have enough? That's the question. I think with the siege in the back, I'm not so sure. Bombard's getting value. The Spearman diving in. The Onimusha might be sniped by the infantry though. He's got to be careful and micro this as best as he can. Got quite a few hand cannoneers. I'm not sure he has enough here, Nyanracingcat, but he's got to win this fight. If he doesn't, it will be over. Down to 30 military versus 45. I think this could be it, ladies and gentlemen. If he loses his army, I feel like it's going to be a bit difficult for him to come back in the game. There's raiding happening here with the elite samurai going through the farms of the Order of the Dragon despite the cannon emplacement in the outpost and in the main fight. Well, Fitzbro's won it. He's taken that fight, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Nyanracingcat taps out on Cliffside. What a great game of Age of Empires 4. We saw a great unit, the Ozutsu. Hope you guys enjoyed the cast game. And if you did, make sure you drop a like on the video. But more importantly, you might want to check out the end card on your screen right now to check out more Age of Empires 4 Sultans Ascend DLC content.